Well, we made it through another great season.
We did it.
Yeah, it was
We made it.
a little crazy.
Yep.
But we had a good time, inspiring our diverse community.
And we got through it together.
We did. And we had a lot of awesome successes this season.
Yep.
Yeah.
And some challenges.
Things we haven't had to work through before, but we made it.
Yes. Well, and I really appreciate that when those troubling times have kind of come up this year, that we really used our mission of the organization as a guiding principle, to inspire our diverse community through musical excellence and pride, has really helped us guide and navigate through a lot of those challenges this year and beyond.
Absolutely. And I think we've had some of the successes because that's been our North Star. We had our first ever completely sold out concerts, sold out more than a week in advance. We had new music commissioned for the chorus this year.
Which we've never had done before.
Mm-hmm.
But is a really big deal. And we're taking it to gala.
Yeah.
And we grew so much this year. So I joined the chorus in 2017. And when I joined, there were 24 singing members. And
Yeah, I remember that.
This year we had 60 on the risers. Just growing that, and even starting this year, we started with 40 to come up to 60 was so much growth in 1 year.
Yeah, it's been a lot. I mean, when I joined in 2010, we had maybe 30 people on the risers. So just to see that kind of exponential growth, and it's been fast too, which has been one of the challenges this year, is how fast we've grown this year.
Yeah.
But I think it really speaks to the excitement that surrounds people wanting to join our organization, and folks seeing us in a concert or at Pride or at one of the outreach performances we do and say, yeah, I want to be a part of that, which is really affirming and inspiring to me.
Yeah. And I feel like with our mission, always inspiring our diverse community, we've always sort of been an organization supporting the arts and supporting queer people. But we've talked about this recently, that we feel like we're more of a community organization now that's just making music and making art together. And I feel like people have noticed that we're having fun together. Mm-hmm. I've heard at so many of our concerts this year and this past year that it just looks like we're having fun. It looks like we like each other. And we do. It's for the most of the time we do.
We're
There's moments.
We're a family.
Yeah.
And with any family, you have those moments of happiness and celebration and just enjoying it. And you're gonna have disagreements. Mm-hmm. It's just how families work.
And especially when you have a family that has so many people from so many different points of view, perspectives, identities, whether that's age, race, job, no matter what, you're going to have some disagreements. But also that's been really healthy and productive for us, having so many different people from different backgrounds and viewpoints at the same time.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
In the past, we did worked with the Ronald McDonald House in Stanford, helping build furniture. But that was
pre-COVID.
Pre-COVID,
yeah.
Which was a lot of fun for us to go out and just be out in the community together.
Well, and then, don't forget, we also routinely, every year for the past couple of years have performed at Willow Glen United Methodist as part of their reconciliation celebration, which especially this year in 2024 is a huge deal.
Fully reconciling.
The church organization is now fully reconciling.
Fully open and affirming.
Yeah. Which is, an amazing thing to be a part of, to be able to celebrate.
But then we also have, we perform at Pride every year. We perform with the San Jose Earthquakes for their Pride Night.
Mm-hmm.
We are one of the premier organizations of queer space and community in Silicon Valley. And that's, when you think about it, it gets a little bit like, oh my God, we're just people who sing together on Tuesday nights, but it's also makes a lot of sense.
Yeah. Well, and then there's also the flag raising at City Hall in downtown San Jose. I'm from Colorado, and that's not something you would see in some parts of our country. Mm-hmm. And so to be able to participate that and feel safe participating in that, and also just being invited to participate in that is a wonderful thing.
One other really cool thing that we've done this year is, for the first time in over a decade, we had a concert with our sister organization, the Rainbow Women's Chorus.
Yes.
Yeah, it really fostered that relationship because, prior to the pandemic, there was a relationship there. And then, 2020 happened. And, I think coming out of the pandemic, people have at least from my perspective, people have a greater appreciation for community. Yes. And so being able to reconnect and reestablish that bridge between our two organizations, because they've been around since the early 90s when they started as an offshoot of our chorus. When the artistic director at the time, it was recommended to her, hey, why don't we start a soprano alto chorus? And, we have a long history with them. So it's really nice to be able to reconnect and reestablish that.
Yeah, and at this concert for Riot this past June, it was really awesome to be on stage with them and conduct, and to be able to talk with one another and just see how much we wanted to be together and wanted to sing, and how much fun we had. Like, conducting those last two numbers where we got to sing all together for two pieces was, like, I was crying.
Yeah,
I think we all were.
But also recognizing that they are two very different organizations, and that's okay. There's room at the table for all of them.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it was really beautiful.
And it very much feels like the start of a new kind of relationship, not, okay, we've done this for once and now we'll see you again in a decade. It feels like this sort of ongoing thing.
Right. Because, the conversations that night were already, this was great. When can we do this again? Do we make this an annual thing? How does that look?
Yeah. And keeping the momentum going.
Yeah.
I think with everything this year, I feel like the ball has just been rolling downhill and picking up speed with the growth of how many members are joining, how many people are filling out the audition form to join for next year already, working with Rainbow Women's Chorus, going to Gala this summer, and all the momentum from that. And I think if we can keep it going, it's going to be an interesting few years.
Yeah, but it's also, if we look at challenges, and we can talk about that later, but it's definitely going to be one of those challenges we're going to face is keeping up with everything.
Yeah.
And one of the things that we got to do with growing is create desperate measures. We've always had a small group within the organization that would perform at concerts. But Dan, with you being able to create an official new group that has survived its first year.
We did it.
We did it.
Yeah, when I joined, it was sort of an ad hoc, who wants to sing on this small group song and who wants to do this small group song? And we would rehearse at the end of a rehearsal because that's what we had time for. And this year saying, okay, no, we're going to bring on an assistant director. We're going to have our own night, our own name, the same people singing every concert. It has been it's been a privilege for me to get to direct and lead this awesome group of people and to sing maybe slightly different music than we would normally get to as a full chorus, just because a 45 or 60 versus 12, you can do a little bit different artistic stuff with that. And I think, at least for me, that speaks to my own roots in scholastic a cappella, and to get to kind of use those things and bring that expertise has been really exciting.
A lot of people have said in the last couple of years is that this feels like, you mentioned family, it feels like a family, it feels very homey. And we've have members that have come from larger organizations where they say they felt lost in the crowd, or they felt like they weren't seen all the time. And they don't feel that here. And there's always that risk, as if we keep growing, that we lose that core family, that feeling. When I joined, there were about 35 people, 40 people. And the fact that within a month and a half, I knew everybody's name and could talk with anybody, feel like I could have a conversation with them, that's a big deal compared to choirs I've been in previously, bigger choirs or queer choruses. That does not happen. You may not even ever know everybody's name.
Yeah.
And so, building the foundation and building all the things like section leaders, there's going to be a day where I cannot talk to every member during a break. We're already at the point now when we get to 60, give each person 30 seconds. That's
a lot.
That's a lot of time.
Yeah.
And so I want to make sure that we have structures where people feel like they're staying connected and seen by me, and by people in
Right.
our organization.
Yeah, so I think the challenge is building that support structure while balancing that family dynamic as well. Because I think we all agree that that's not something we want to lose.
No.
Yeah.
And this year was a lot like building a plane while flying it. We landed, we got to our concert, but we were in the air and adjusting our course a little bit.
Yeah, and because I know for me, when I moved to San Jose and I was looking to say, hey, maybe I might want to join a choir. And, I watched some videos, do a little research, and I see videos of SVGMC, and that family dynamic, the way that we love to sing with each other is evident on all of our videos, really, in every performance that we do. So I think maintaining that and having that closeness is so important, not only for the community as a whole, but for ourselves. Like, the chorus has been such a support system, not just a family, but a support system for me as I've started to make the Bay Area my home. Mm-hmm. And so many of us are transplants. Maybe half or more of the chorus are people who are not from here. So it becomes this support system and family for us.
Yeah. So I could honestly say, when I joined in 2017, I was looking for community. Like, I had started my teaching career, I had just gotten married, I had done all these things and sort of lost myself. I wasn't performing anymore, and I had degrees, bachelor's and master's in vocal performance, and I wasn't performing. And so to come into a space where I'm like, I'm singing, I'm performing again, I'm making friends. Like, I look on all my social media and I could tell how far someone is away from the chorus world by how many mutual friends I have with them. Because
same.
Looking at the number, like, it's insane of how many of my friends have come through queer chorus now.
I remember, so in 2010, when I joined the organization, I met up with a guy who was singing baritone for the chorus, and we had a long conversation about how I missed singing in choral settings because I missed the community. And so he quickly convinced me to join the organization, and I did. And I quickly realized what a support system this organization is for its members. As you know, I shortly after joining the chorus was diagnosed as HIV positive, and the chorus really was that support system for me, dealing with that diagnosis and just wrapping my head around that. And what's been really beautiful is, I've been with the chorus for a number of years. And last year, I had one of our newer chorus members come up to me and share that they had been recently diagnosed. And so to be on the other end of it and to be the support years later, after it had provided me the support that I needed in that moment, was really humbling and beautiful.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, there's been a couple of members in the last couple of years that have said, if you don't know that you are saving lives by being a part of this group, you don't know what's actually happening in this group. And the more I hear stories, the more I talk to people, I realize there's a lot people have going on. There's a lot of things people are dealing with, and that we can just be there for each other and support one another has been really awesome to be a part of.
Yeah.
And I think one of the other things people really are attracted to about us is that we have a really diverse membership. And again, in all the kinds of ways, that we have a lot of people of color, that we have people of all ages, from people who just finished college to people who have long since retired, and everyone in between.
When I first, in 2017, I was the second youngest member at the age of 32. And that number is obliterated now, because we have people that are just, as you mentioned, just out of college now, that I'm like, oh, I could have been your teacher at that point, and I'm not.
Well, and I mean, even back when I joined in 2010, I was the second youngest at 24 at the time. And then the next closest to me in age was in his mid-30s. And then after that, everyone was 45 years older, And one of my things that I've really enjoyed seeing is how diverse the group has gotten since when I first joined, because when I first joined, as I alluded to just a moment ago, it was predominantly older and also predominantly white. And I think the chorus now is becoming much more representative of the community here in the San Jose and Silicon Valley area.
Yeah. And I know for me, that was something I really wanted. Again, after being in the Midwest, in this very white area, white dominated area, that moving back to the West Coast for me and being around so much diversity was something I really wanted. And seeing that in the organization was one of the things that really attracted me to it.
One of the challenges I think that's going to happen as we're growing, and I feel like we're moving in the right direction with it, is the gender identity and being a part of the Silicon Valley gay men's chorus. And what does that mean if you don't identify as a man, or what do you, and I love that we are open to having that conversation now. And we've been doing things like changing our dress code for our concerts to be more inclusive of what people want to wear. And it's going to be something we're going to have to keep looking into in the future as we grow as an organization.
Absolutely.
And also that we have membership who feel like they can come to us and say, hey, is it all right if I wear makeup for this concert? Hey, is it all right if I'm not performing as a drag queen, but can I show up in drag to our Drag Queen Bingo fundraiser? That people see our chorus not just as a place to sing, but also a place to be authentically themselves. One of the other things that people say when they join the chorus, like that they expect, is everybody maybe like the three of us, that they did music for college, or that they have a lot of choral background, when in reality, at least half of the people in the chorus don't read music. Right. They don't have that big musical background. And that's okay. That's a strength of ours that says, okay, you know what? As long as you want to be here and you want to put in the work, great. We're going to help you to succeed. And we're still going to sound really good too. It doesn't mean that suddenly the quality of our music is diminished. Yeah. And in fact, I would say it's just the opposite, that we have this really amazing, big, beautiful sound from all of the different voices that comprise our organization.
There was a conversation within the organization a number of years ago, when I was on the board the first time, about, are we a community organization or are we an arts organization? And at the time, the focus was staunchly, we are an arts organization. We focus on artistic excellence and musical excellence specifically. And I think now, as we've grown, what I'm noticing is that we have a lot more focus on that community aspect. And in turn, that community aspect feeds into the musical excellence. And because there's that sense of community, people are more invested in performing better. And so we still sound better than we ever did.
People voluntarily want to go to sectionals. They want to have a weekend retreat at which we get better musically, but also we get to hang out and catch up with each other on an extra day.
Yeah.
As we've said, like, this is a gala year, so it's sort of, we get to this and all our energy is focused on July in Minneapolis, and then we're not quite sure what the future holds. Yeah. And we've had conversations here and there, but I think we're also in a time of transition for our board, for our organization. So it largely depends on what does everybody want to do, not just what the three of us want.
Right. And that's exactly what I was going to touch on, is that I think part of the issue with figuring out what the future holds for us, or what we want for the future, is that it does lie far beyond just the three of us. It's the board and the membership and the community that we serve. Where do we want to take this?
I think for all of it, I feel like the future, no matter what, is we're going to be continuing as a sort of family unit through music, whether that means we do more community outreach things, if that means we do more on recruiting for the organization, if that means that we, I don't know what it means, but just that we are going to continue to build as a family unit that is just going to keep expanding.
Yeah, whatever the future holds, it holds us together.
Yeah.
Button.